Hi, I'm Jinx, and welcome to Anyland. This is a video I'm doing to archive Space Station Ravenswich, the third in the Ravenswich trilogy of Delco's and mine. And after 2 years, looks like we're not going to finish it. It's been a huge ordeal. A lot of work has gone into it, a lot of cool ideas. And 2 years ago when we started this, we were running up against Halloween because we were doing the Halloween annual spooky event worlds, and we hadn't quite finished it, and you'll see. And we knew we needed a good deal of work left to release it. We weren't going to make Halloween that year. And honestly, I was getting burned out on pushing myself and us. And we had other games we wanted to play with friends, pancake games, because it's Halloween and, Halloween time. So I'm going to do a tour here of what we did finish and we did last year, and then through some of my life events, I wasn't able to really be working on anything for a while. And so anyway, let me get on with it. And here we go. Go to my point of view as always. Yes. Very good. So this is the spawn point of Space Station Ravenswich. When you come in, I'm already here, so you won't hear it, but it triggers a sound effect that is kind of a loud power down sound with some gashes like psh, psh, psh sounds. And you'll notice when I'm looking at, I'm in like a cockpit of a spacecraft looking out into space, supposedly, and there is a ringed gas giant up ahead. So giving the implication that we're in a spaceship and we're flying through space, but actually kind of we're not, and we'll see that in a moment. This is a placeholder cockpit chair. I should probably get a light out, maybe. Sure, let's, why not? An underground 2 torch. It's so bright. I used my recreation of obviously an Atari 2600 joystick as controller. Yeah, right, for the cockpit. And then controller that I didn't detail out. And actually, we'll see this exact same panel in the security station for continuity. As we look around, we're going to see holographic, as it says, station info panel. And then some info. And again, the same mission briefing and info panel. They're mirrored but zigzagged. Just so that when multiple people would be here, they could read the mission briefing. And then this was mostly going to be a 2D holographic looking but blueprint look in the radar style of, say, like the old Wing Commander games of the space station itself. The space station is built inside an asteroid, kind of a classic idea. This was an old mining asteroid. And we have these chairs, which you can see are meant to be moved around. Kind of seemed like a nice idea for spaceships. This would take place in the year 2112, which, yes, is a Rush reference. Delco is a big fan. We wanted in the future enough that, like, a base on an asteroid is enough believable, but not super duper high tech, super duper future, nothing crazy, we'll say. This is all supposed to take place in the same universe as Neon City, and that same gaseous giant ringed was going to appear in the Neon City skyline, because Neon City is supposed to be, if not on that planet, then in a moon in close orbit. It also shows up, let's see, the first space station we built after the underground in 2017. It shows up in that skyline. So let me just read the mission briefing. Mission briefing, October 31st, 2112. The station went dark months ago. No comms in or out. Power levels are drastically reduced. We sent a Merc in ahead of you to infiltrate the Hangar 4 and restore enough power to let you gain entry. Find out what's happened there. Then fly back to HQ for debriefing. So yes, the whole idea is that this space station was a mining space station And as it said, no communication for months. Just no one could contact it. It looked like it had been either abandoned or a drastic, terrible problem had happened. Spoilers, not exactly. And yeah, you're sent to infiltrate and find out what happened. Pretty classic story. In the Merc, they sent a head, needed to breach the hangar, take down the force field, I guess, and let you in. So we're kind of on approach, maybe, sort of? Not exactly. Let's go to the back. I always put a starting arrow of where the spawn point is and which direction it faces when I start worlds to help orient what I'm building. So this has multiple seats in the back and kind of gives the feeling of being a dropship. Like maybe a whole platoon of people or squad or something would come in and be infiltrating something. Who knows? Let's find out. So, back door, and it says, systems online, engine powered down, landing gear engaged, atmosphere detected. Rear loading bay door powered. That's this. Tap here to open rear loading bay door. Go slow, don't die. I always say that. People have a habit of like teleporting at max distance and running through everything, but in Delco and my haunted worlds, like things trigger when neared, and some things, I mean, it's really just meant to keep the ambiance of the spookiness. So I'll tap here to open. Love it. Classic. Door comes down, it goes down fast, and then it slows down even more. So we'll walk down here, and the first thing you're greeted with is, wait, we're not in space, like it said. We're in a hangar. Oh, we're in the hangar. Cool. So that view out there, I'll go around and you'll see, excuse me, was kind of a feint to make you feel like you were in space. So the first thing you're greeted with is this broken, huge display that's staticky and electric sparks are going off and a body. So let's, what? And we see it's a security guy. His torso has been taken off, and it looks ostensibly like he was, I don't know, dismembered, and then his torso thrown up against this wall, which broke the big screen. The screen probably would have been like welcome information, I don't know. But you can see it's all cracked out, and there's even glass shards and whatnot. Security badge to let you know, just a little extra. This isn't safe. If the security dude had this happen, you, just somebody, are probably not safe. Note the tattoo under his eye. That is a reference directly to the alchemist in Ravenswich. I'll give more story about that later, of course, but events that happen here on the space station include a little bit of time travel and people going back in time to the past. So I'll get to that towards the end when I explain how the ending was gonna go. So we have some lockers. No, you can't open these. They have, red lights. The green ones you can open. So this is hangars 1 through 3, kind of commissary area, I guess. It's locked. Cool. These info panels, I guess, on the walls show up everywhere because they're pretty normal to be seeing in this space station. But as they read, station status, the time, systems online, mainframe online, main power, it's glitching out at 34%. Life support is 47%. That's not a great sign for you, huh? Structural integrity, 82%. What the hell happened here, right? And then system lockdown in progress. And we give you the actual steps of like your goal, your quest. 1, blue security access cards to disable. Maybe I need to get one of those. And 2, reactivate portal transport systems. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Up there, we'll show you. But first, if I turn around, there's our spaceship, the back of it. And this is the refueling device, I guess. Kind of see it there. It's kind of silly if I'm using a torch in a high-tech place, but whatever. You can see the big tubes, and this would, open up, and then you'd pick it up and then hold it and plug it into your ship, wherever that goes. The helpful display panel says, refueling station, status offline. Security alert, to disable system lockdown to to power on. So obviously, station is on lockdown, and therefore not all the things are working. So just stepping up to here, we'll show there's that gas giant, the ringed one, and as you can see, space. And clearly we're in a hangar that has a blue force field on it. You can see the force field emitters. And then these are probably the power for it, with the fun animated effect Delco did. Okay, and not my favorite or best spaceship ever, as I've designed many over the years, both on paper and in pixel art and stuff, but I've never designed one in VR that also needed to have an interior space that's realistic. So it exists. It was good enough. It does have dual Gatling guns, probably laser, because you got to defend yourself. And up front there's a little like triple laser blaster. So coming around the back, you see those two windows, observation windows, are locked down. They have their blast doors down. We'll be up there later, in a sense. Notice there's similar types of windows, but that's cool because you need to have consistency, especially in a space station, because a space station would be built with lots of similar parts modularly to make it easier, because building in space, of course, is expensive and resource intensive. So anyway, next to your ship is this small infiltrator Z13. It's a small little ship. It is based on the hover cars I made for Neon City. I added wings and altered it. Let's see, added some cool 1950s retro future fins, rockets. There's a little access portal up there. Another laser chain gun up front. So one way or another, the person who was flying this little merc ship got in. Probably the force field wasn't down, or who knows? Maybe he tricked somebody into letting him in. He did. Where is he? Let's see that shortly. Yeah, so don't mind extraneous bits that were for building. Just don't mind that, because that's stuff we use when we build. We are going that way. You can probably tell because it's lit up red. Maybe. Hint, hint. You'll see. It does say station entrance, in case you can read. And I like these pillars. We saw these in the Eldritch world at the end of Ravenswich. At least something similar. Definitely that writing. So let's go up the stairs. And this is the first UI hint. Something that doesn't belong in this world per se, but it's for the players. Tap IO symbol to open doors. That's all you have to do. I like to swipe it. If you've played Ravenswich or seen my Ravenswich walkthrough video with Delco, you might notice what the IO purple symbol is. It's the dispel icon for magic. So, interesting. Yes, interesting that is a technical button in the future, but it also is similar to a magic spell. Interesting. Yes. So, yep, we got statuary here and some kind of going for some gothic vibes. This whole space is great because of the windows up here. You can see people arrive as they come in, which is cool. I always enjoy that. And we can see if we step out on the balcony, unfinished. Delco made this kind of fencing for Ravenswich, unfinished. But again, we were going for a kind of gothic space station vibe. I don't have a lot more to say about that. It's the only place I've ever been able to find something similar in our research was the Warhammer 4000 series. Neither of us have ever really delved into that series, so we didn't have any prior knowledge or inspiration, so we were just kind of running with it. So yeah, some pillars and stuff and more stuff, and oh, there's a headless body in a power armor kind of suit. This armor I had in the avatar shop that Delco and I had made, and some easy to equip armor. And this guy, his color scheme with the dark green and silver, kind of reminded me of Boba Fett, the original Boba Fett. But as let me point out, his head's missing. Where the hell is his head? His arm is ripped off, and there's his arm ripped off, and it's holding onto a cord to this generator-like device that's humming. And you see one cord is plugged in and one other was meant to go here, except that's broken. Oh, it's broken. Red light. So let's flip the switch. Nothing happens. Okay, well, this one has a green light. Yeah, let's flip it. Audio sound effect over there. Door opening. Okay, I'm just going to jump down because why not? So we can see this opening. What did you do? You powered up the door. And now you can come in. Great. We'll come in here. Oh, we're going to get scanned. Harmless. But there it is. That triggers when neared, I believe. And it'll keep doing it. Notice the camera looking at you. And it will look at you as you rotate and move. Just want to point that out because it's going to change. Another blast door is down for an observation window. Cool. So that button will reopen that door, which will close automatically. There goes. So where are you? Well, before you can enter the space station naturally, of course, you need to be scanned for contaminants. Oh, here we go again. Oh! All right. Yeah, you can't enter a space station without, when bringing, I don't know, germs and problems. Yeah, of course not. So, here's a scanner. Oh, look at that. It's a friendly handprint that you know exactly where to put your hand. Welcome to Space Station Ravenswich. Decontamination checks required. Makes sense. Please place hand on the friendly, safe scanner. Yeah. Extra adjectives because you know it's not going to be. So, thank you. Okay, we're done here. Okay, I'll do it. I'll roll up my sleeve one up. So yeah. You put your hand in, those spider-like claws hit your hand as if initially probably to keep your hand in place. But really, they're stabbing you and drawing blood. And later we were going to have a room, and I'll show it, that the room, amongst having artifacts and jazz, was going to have a bunch of blood samples and vials. And they'd be labeled, like Aaron Winchesterson and, some names from the Ravenswich and Castellan from Castle Ravenswich. But it would also do own person. It would have your name, which would be fun, as if you had your blood checked, but it was actually withdrawn and saved. So anyway, it does say blood sample extracted, you may enter. I've been talking, so the door closed. We have to do it again. Yep. Anyway, I like that it added the extra line up there. Okay, so here we have a nice hallway entrance from there. And just want to point out that the end of Castle Ravenswich, if you remember the throne room, Castellan's dead and skeletal, so he's been dead a long time, so who were you talking to? You ended up in a high-tech, dark space station-like hallway with the alarms blaring, and then after a moment when you look at the exhaust door, it opens up, sucks you out, you die, and you respawn at the graveyard of the tavern. Anyway, that was, yes, a hint that year that the next haunted experience was going to be a space station, this place, which is what we ended up with. So, Delco, in a newer style, recreated a similar hallway. This isn't supposed to be that hallway, but similar. So you got lots of stuff. The vent from Ravenswich that in the video we were talking about, and he actually grabbed in the video because we're like, oh, we could use that. We could actually use that. Well, he retooled it and added a cool little swirly texture effect. Not much to say about that. Let's move on. All right, so here's the first area. And you know what? Because of the reflections, I had to get rid of the torch because, ooh, it's so dark. You can't really see. with reflections. So if you look out here, you'll see it's a window. You see the corridor goes that way, and indeed that way. Sure, it's another window. You can see other parts of architecture, ostensibly the space station, and how it all wraps around. I came back. You know what? Don't I have just the thing for this? Never mind. It despawned 30 seconds. Yeah, so this was going to be, well, a starting bar. Always have to have a starting bar. That's just fun. Vending machine from Neon City. I was going to retool. And then up here was going to be stuff. And that was just a placeholder, obviously. But it was going to say, welcome to Space Station Neon. And do the normal warning about how dark it is and how things will jump scare you, etc., etc. But we're cool. So, the bar. And another bit of statuary. You know what? I'm going to get out the flashlight. I'll use that when I need it. So, data pad says security officer log, December 31st, 2112. So, today, the same day that it said on the mission briefing for you. Quiet as always. Stepped out for a drink. Bar. Now I can't find my access card. Did I leave it in the armory? Interesting. And why is the armory empty? That group here, I guess, is now stockpiling weapons. They're getting more weird than before. And what's that noise down the hall? So this is the security officer, which we'll see his security booth down there, who was killed outside and destroyed. So it sounds like you said, it's a quiet night. He stepped out from his booth down here to get a drink at the bar. Cool. And then he heard noise down there. He went to investigate and got horribly dismembered. Again, just to sell the spookiness vibe and that you're not safe kind of vibe. So, some walls in the back. I like that guy. Okay, so, hallway. This is an open door. An open blast door. We're going to see more of these blast doors, open and closed. But I like to just, since I have the flashlight now, I'll point it out. The corridor. Woo! And this. All blast doors have these panels. Datapad had blue, and the info panels next to the doors are green. Anyway, security lockdown active. We heard about that. Quarter blast door overridden. Somebody made sure this door is open. Little design tip. Doors that slide into walls need space to do that, right? But you don't need to hollow out the actual space. No. Just do black to imply the void that is beyond there. I did that. God, I remember doing that in Haunted Woods Trails 3. The sliding door between the kitchen and the Monster Mash dining hall. Okay, anyway, we can go down here. I got some fun texturing on the floor. I liked doing, well, the hexagons, I feel like are a good way to say future, right? I think that's a trope. But I like doing kind of like a path, an actual path to help guide you. So over here, it's just blank wall and then some stuff. Red lights. They are just glow in the dark. As you can see, they're not giving off actual light, but the blinking red one down there is. So I'll point out over here as we pass this door. See, the ones that don't work, they go at you and turn red. Classic, do not enter, cannot enter, it's locked. I love that knock, knock, knock sound effect. Above others, it just seems more, real. And it catches me off guard, personally, all the time. So then we have fingers and blood. Someone or something got trapped as this door closed. Oh, God. And maybe that person still... Yeah, we'll see. So as we go through here, medical screening. Purple for big signs, by the way. We'll go in that door in a moment. Okay. Another window. And can you see? Hopefully, if I get close enough. Yeah. Hopefully you can see That should be the hangar. Yeah. Oh, by the way. Yeah. Windows are reactive. And the rest. And see, there's like a corridor up there. And that obviously leads to where those blast door windows are. This window was going to have, when neared, or probably when looked at, not just neared, a head that would just come floating down from out of your line of sight. It kind of float, rotate a little, hit the other side of the glass, and then go down and until it's out of sight and vanish. It was going to be the helmeted head of the mercenary who let you in. You know, his head was missing the whole time, so we're going to do that. It's going to come down and then go pop and then come down. That would be fun. So, before we go there, we're going into medical screening. I know it gives me a System Shock 1 vibe. The sound effect on the door. I wanted a typical electronic high-tech door opening sound, but at the same time, I wanted something about it to sound unsettling, unreal, just something that was just nothing would sound that way, actually. So doing that little string, like, overlaid on it, added what I needed. This is going to be a nice medical room. Delco's medical chair. Yeah. This room with these color walls, I don't know what to call it. I guess it was like a dark cyan at the time. These are mod rooms. Very similar to what we did in the underground, where the whole room is one thing with the floor and the ceiling. And the middle of each wall is actually empty in the mod room. I could probably... Yeah, okay, if I highlight it, you can see. And then we had filler panels like this, and then door frames. So, what could I do? So that, again, a space station would be modular. So it makes sense that a lot of rooms would seem very similar. Also, in a haunted experience, I think that adds a little to, not so much getting lost, but we could have done Wolfenstein 3D style, room after room after room connecting in different ways. Some had doors, some don't. Some have double doors and get you all turned around. But we like the idea of not totally losing someone and getting them lost in a maze, but giving enough stuff and variations that you can, like, we didn't have to go in here and we don't have to go in there next. We could just go down the hallway. But, if you want to, you can see more. And if not, you can just go straight through and be boring. Okay. So this robot is a placeholder, and so is a spotlight. He's the inverted bartender without a tray from Mos Eisley Cantina that Delco, Emily, and I built in early 2017. It's kind of like the first project the three of us did, which led to the underground because they're awesome. Anyway, this room, medical table, it's going to have a spotlight, obviously. There'd be a big robot, maybe a little smaller than that, with many arms, with scalpels and other medical things near the middle with a track going around everywhere. And he was going to be like arms flailing a bit with the scalpels, as well as making some malfunction sounds and sparks. So clearly he went haywire and attacked this poor fellow. Oh, God. So as he got his hand stuck in the door and, oh, God, his brain is exposed. As he got up to run away, the door closed on his hand, and the medical robot would have carved off the top of his head and his back. Ouch. Just want to show this is not somewhere to go. So anyway, that would be the first, like, oh man, if this whole space station being so dark wasn't enough of a giant what the hell happened, as well as the security guy up front being, yeah. If you didn't get it by now, and if you did go in there, you'd be like, oh no. Anyway, you might recognize from Ravenswich and Castle Ravenswich, I used the same guy in the hangar, but this is the one with the blood. Not, well, it's black, it's not blood. Yeah, the ooze dripping and the oozy fingertips. So, again, going with some of the gothic statuary in a space station. Like, who does that? Nobody. Okay. As we approach, there are a lot of these. Just and that. And you'll see it here, right? Decor. Modular decor. Similar to how the Ravenswich buildings' exteriors had lots of windows and balconies and awnings and stuff that we reuse the exact same ones over and over and over, and sometimes in different ways and different colors. Same thing. You need filler. Otherwise you get boring spaces. So you could tell that one's this flipped over. All right, anyway. So one light panel is obviously not mounted and it's down. What do we have? Hangar 4 crew quarters. Well, that makes sense because this is the Hangar 4 area. Oop, don't want to show that yet. And where the crew going to be, well, they need to have nearby quarters so they don't have to traverse the entire space station in a dystopian kind of way. If you're assigned to Hangar 4, your quarters are here. You work at Hangar 4. You might be a bartender. You might work the hangar itself. You might work somewhere down there just a little, but you don't go very far. At the end of your shift, you come back to your quarters. Boring. Okay, but, you know, this isn't a happy space station, as you can tell. Panel is blinking. It's just a blinking light. Wires. You know, obviously the ceiling is fixed with a texture, but syncing the wires up like that makes it look like these are actual cross beams or something. Again, as I say, it's good enough. You don't need to go crazy with details. Oh. I guess we're not going into the crew quarters. Yeah, more spookiness. All right, so instead we'll go down. This is the first real corridor, I think, in my opinion, the first real decorated corridor, and it gives you that like, oh, that's not a Star Trek corridor. That's not Star Wars corridor. That's not insert your favorite sci-fi, series here corridor. This is a little different. So, yeah. Great at the bottom to break up the middle. Just give you something. Another one of those, and I'll read it again, maybe. And sconces. Sconces on the wall in a space station. You don't normally see that. Let's take a look. That is not your normal sconce, is it? It's a skull. Yes, that's my blocky style of skull that I started using in the underground and have always used because I've never been happy with making skulls or pumpkins or any kind of actual organic shape. I'm fine and good with geometric squared off shapes. So cool. So yeah, 3 candle sconce in a metal thing. It is its own thing with the backsplash, so easy to place somewhere on, say, for example, a blank wall. Poof. And then the cool thing is these are both placed lights, and so in Anyland, you could have 2 placed lights lighting up one thing. So they're just far enough away that they don't interact with each other. As you can see right down the middle, there's darkness, and create actually really nice lighting effect. Very happy with that. I like just the look of this. When we first were building this and got to this part, and then I decorated this because it's the first corridor I made that was modular. It was just like one of those like, oh yes, oh yes, that is it. That's what we're going for. That was the look we were going for, kind of thing. So anyway, going through, got some decor on the wall. We'll see that later. This actually, I said I'd read it, but it's the same thing. And note it has the orange lighting effect, which is nice. And now we can go right, or we can go left. I'm going to go left because I'm left-handed. Yeah, what the hell? I'll go right first. I was going to retool this area. Pillars. Wait, pipes. You've seen these pipes. Jinx Mansion Lab. Yeah. I think it's the same colors, actually. stuff on the back. I was going to take out the pillars and this wall. It was going to be a door, and it was going to be blockaded with crates. And you'll see the crates. I took my old Doom crates and underground crates, and ones I put in Delco's Firefly recreation. They're metal versions of the same crate model. I was going to stack them up in front of the door, and so you couldn't walk by here, and they'd be unwalkable, so you couldn't jump over them or anything. But the sign was going to say morgue. Kind of inspired by Dead Space. The whole idea being like, if the morgue is blockaded, what the heck is the problem here? Anyway, we're going to go this way instead. I'll point out this. Similar, except a little wider. It's a candelabra in the metal skull. And I remember Doom Eternal, which was really like a modernized version of Doom 2, had modernized versions of this stuff from Doom 2. So I was like, I like that. Yes. Yes, we're going to do the skull as a candelabra, as a light source. Because again, in a space station, you don't do sconces, you don't do candelabras, you don't do lamps. You usually in sci-fi movies, games, etc., they're built into the ceilings or the walls. And so I wanted a little differentness. Let's just say it that way. So, okay, gating instead of a door. Gating. Again, spiky gating. We've seen that before in, well, Castle Ravenswich for sure. I also liked the idea that there would be metal gates in a space station. Because another thing you wouldn't normally see in a space station would be simple metal gating. Right? So, yeah. Plus, spiky feels more gothic this way, I guess. So let's look inside anyway. What the hell is that? What the hell is that? What? Did you see it? No, I didn't either. Okay. There's a twitchy guy in a straitjacket with spiky hair. And when looked at, after a couple seconds, he does vanish. The one light is on to spotlight him, or silhouette him, rather. And the other one's off. And you can see there's another gate back there. Yeah, let's point through. There's another gate back there. And just, there actually is a turn of a corridor, but not lit, and it's all dark. Just to imply that there's more stuff that way. There isn't, but just to imply it. So, yeah. And here's another one of these. Again, in glowy orange, because I like doing a placed orange light where the orange text is, to kind of give it a sense that, like, it's actually lit light, right, on a black background. Feels good. And again, in VR, if you can do something for presence and immersion, it's all we got. It adds a lot, like a lot. It doesn't come out on a video in a pancake screen. It comes out so much when all these things add up in VR. All right, so unfinished door and unfinished jump scare. Another one of those light. I said lights. Not really a light, but it's a security camera. And it does blink. Gives you that sense of being an eyeball, maybe? Hinted. Anyway, so security checkpoint hangar 4. Instead of just being purple, it also has red lights going off. In case you were wondering, things are definitely not going well. You can see the red lights inside. All the screens are staticky. Clearly, things have gone wrong. There's a chair that's knocked over. Yep. And, there's more down there. Oh, let's go in. Oh, well, it looks like it short-circuited when I went to touch it. And we're not going in that way. We will go in that way, and anyway. So, two things here. First, once that blows, you know you can't get beyond. And that green block is just a placeholder to open the door as we were building. So the only thing that would be left is take one. And there'd be, obviously, a ticket. And if you've known from Delco and my 5 other haunted experiences about the ticket booth. In Ravenswich, that was the last like proper ticket booth. It was in the beginning, and you went to take it, and it instantly turned into a monster that was chomping here. It was chomping your hand. This is fun. It is in Castle Ravenswich, up the freaky, cool teleportation experiment with alternate dimensions spire that Delco made. When you get at the top of the spire, you've got the switch that will open the portcullis to the final tower at the end. There are 2 spots raised up, fenced in, whatever. One has a tank with Aaron Winchesterson's body floating in a liquid, I think. The other one has the ticket booth chained. There are chains on it. And if you approach it, it just growls at you. But of course, it's so far up and it's, protected from you. So you can't take the ticket because a ticket booth didn't fit in our Castle Ravenswich experience, which Ravenswich, as we keep going on and on, is more and more, let's say it's closer to being a game and less of being a kitschy Halloween romp, right? So we're being a little more serious, anyway. So the only thing you would have to do left here, if you want to get through the doors, is simply to take one. Just like it says, take one. It would be a ticket sticking out here. So you can read it. It says, "Greeting visitor 0617. That number changes over time. It's programmed in as to, anyway. ID Jinx, that's own person, I'll see you. Today's date, October 31st, 2112. Please take a guest access card." Oh, that's what that is this time. "A security officer will be with you shortly after." Okay, so first of all, if you're expecting a security officer to anything, no. What we're going to do is when you take a ticket, because we had to have a jump scare, right? You go and you take that ticket, and from up here, out of the way, a body would swing down like this, and its head and hands would smash against this glass. And Delco had come up with a way to do like transparent blood on this transparent glass. And then, so that would be a huge jump scare because you're right here, and then bam, body. And I think it was just going to hang there. But the act of triggering that animation was going to be personal, so everyone had to do it themselves. And then in the end would open this door. So one by one, everyone would have to get that experience. So, let's open this. Sliding doors like this, inspired by Doom, obviously. In Doom, you unpeg the sides so that they don't go up and down with the door, but because that looks nicer. In Anyland for this, I intentionally made the inner sides part of the door that goes up and down with the side thing. It's more work to make it look that way. Anyway. Yep, if you had been hearing this sound, this door being a little haywire, and if you don't have someone like me over talking as you go through the past couple of corridors, you start hearing that it gets louder until it's this volume, wondering what that repetitive sound is. So let's go inside. And this room is trashed. Another chair down, some chairs, okay. That's off. First of all, these cabinets I used in first, I think, Haunted Witch Trials 3, the house. I definitely remember they were in the living room, what I called the living room. They definitely showed up in Ravenswich, and I just turned them metallic. Great filler. And the like junction boxes. I did something similar when Delco and I made the Zork White House, the start of it. And then I was like, you know what? We kind of used, it's also in Jinx Mansion Lab for the puzzle. And I was like, you know what? A kind of like breaker box with some wires. That's pretty cool. So I made this to look a little more high-tech and interesting. So it's kind of like, oh, there would be a door here, and there may be lights to show what's on and off or malfunctioning or not. Of course, the warning symbol that I designed, God, ages ago. It's made out of parts, right? Anyway, we'll see variations of that later. Okay, so desk, pretty classic, pretty normal. Hexagon, tabletop, again, futuristic vibe. And this kind of pad that's all staticky. Okay. And the mount for it is also down. So yeah, something came through here. Oh yeah, from back here you'd see the body right here. That'd be pretty trippy. And of course you can't, it's dead. Oh, more filler. Not really filler, but the high voltage, I guess, breaker? I don't know. So yeah, this room is obviously supposed to be a security booth and security windows. So you could see all around, you know, at least hangar 4. The static texture is a texture that glows and shrunken so far down that it can't render properly. And it literally becomes a static. And if you get close, you can kind of see sometimes. I don't know if it'll show up in video. We've used it for television screens and stuff, so it's great. To make it blink, you can kind of see the edge is showing. There is simply a black panel of the same size, and it untween moves between right in front and out beyond the wall. Just back and forth, in and out, in, out, in. I did to give the illusion that the screen is blinking. And that way I didn't have to do much. So, red light, cool. And this says station lockdown active. Blue security access card required to disengage at appropriate security rooms. Hint, hint, like it couldn't be more obvious what we're telling you need to do. You need to find a blue security access card. This is like Doom, man. Power online. Locking systems online. Ooh. Mainframe connected. Cool, okay. So, moving along. Oh yeah, the cabinets. I said with the green ones, there's one that works. And there's another flashlight. Cool. There's one just like this in the hangar. So you can start with a flashlight. So, a longer corridor. Actually, literally, you can tell double the size of the first one. As we go down. I love this effect. It was so much fun making. Just take, one of my NPCs, my human bodies, in different. Oh well. Anyway, different parts, of course. But to throw him, he's just on a sub thing, and I positioned him in a way, and then made, when neared, there's a certain block right around here. So when you get close, he comes from out of sight, and then when he hits the wall, he actually, I think, passes through it and ends up on the other side of the wall. But at the same time, there's an invisible emitter right over here that quickly emits all those pieces of his body that way. And they are, physics objects, so they hit and they bounce a little. And it just, I love that effect. Like something, and of course the blood, something big and strong through this guy. And if you look closely, he's got the security outfit. He hit the wall so hard that he broke up into pieces. Totally unrealistic, of course, but so much fun and a minor jump scare that totally catches you off guard. So here's another blast door. Yep. And a corridor. Blast door was open, but it said it was locked. Hold on, let's see. What does it say? Security lockdown active. Corridor blast door glitch. Error. The word error is trying to resolve itself. Malfunction detected. Will not close. Oh, this door never actually closed. That's a problem. So, yeah, nice to add all of these pipings and other fun bits to these otherwise boring corridors. This is the exact same corridor that I displayed with the 2 sconces with the skulls, except they don't have these 6, detailed sides. And instead of putting sconces, I just put a bunch of greebles, I think people call it. And then Delco made this cool red light and just attached it on. Wonderful. Same exact corridor, different look. Awesome. So now we have, oh, there's another security camera. Now we have another one of these display units, but it's static. Now the reason it's static is because using placed lights here and then down that way, I partially didn't want to put another placed light and then interact with the 3 placed lights rule in Anyland, but that's okay because watch what it does. It short circuits, sparks out, and then turns off. That was another reason I didn't want to do placed light, because I was going to make it turn off one way or the other. So then I'd have to move or delete the light, and then it would interact with stuff, and there's no reason for that. So yeah, you can see in the reflection my personal light, which we usually encourage people to turn off, but I keep on for videos because everything's so dark. It's already dark. I need a little more. Anyway, so you come here, and there's yet another one of these corridors. Hey, I'm not going to point out every single one, but just this is a very plain version of it. The plain version of it. And I just added 2 of these on either side. Okay, whatever. Until you come out to this space. There's an angel statue there, but this is a new statue. Just to keep going with the Halloween theme, it's a person, a lady in a dress, holding a jack-o'-lantern with a raven on its shoulders. So, you know, adding all in with the Ravenswich stuff. After all, this is the 3rd of the Ravenswich trilogy. Needed to, aside from things like that statue showing up and a few other things, adding something like this that's different, but also has some of the hints. Jack-o'-lantern comes in directly in play later for the finale, but I'll explain that then. So you come through here, and maybe you were wondering if you were chasing whatever through that guy and he smashed, but instead there's a blood trail, and you'll notice it leads to that open vent that's bloody red. So if you go over there, you see more blood, and then it's actually a tunnel. It's not just a black spot. There's actually a tunnel in there, but you can't get to it. So clearly whatever it is retreated up into that. Ooh. Okay. So there are multiple ways you can go here. This is a hub area, a mini hub area. We like doing that in Ravenswich, where things are linear for a while, and then there's a hub kind of area you can explore at your own, desires. So this is a bench on all 4 sides in this area. And remember, you've just come in from the hangar, so this is still supposed to be where visitors might go to early on in their visit. So it could be a waiting area. Double tall, which is fun. Blast window, closed, so we didn't have to do anything up there, but just implied that there's a big room up there. There is actually a room up there that we're going to go to. Skylight to give you a view of space, and also remind you we're near a space station, so we needed to do a few viewports, so you know. These are the boxes I was talking about, the old underground style that show up in a few of our worlds. I just turned metallic, silver, light and dark. Yeah, so okay, let's start this way. Ooh, a new type of door. It's blue. Yeah, and some more of these pillars. I put pillars like this a couple places, like the entrance to from the hangar. They really indicate to the players that this is where you should be going, but kind of indicate that it's important. But it also ties in with Ravenswich with those symbols, and being on an obelisk is nice. That chandelier, that's my chandelier. You may know I made that exact chandelier for Club Confession, my recreation from Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. And I've used it multiple other places because I really like it. Sometimes I've shrunk it down to use a small chandelier, and sometimes a big one. So you put it there, and you put an invisible placed light, and it creates that shadow effect, which I quite like. And again, in a space station, you wouldn't have a chandelier at all. You would just like these red lights, which help with the whole space station under lockdown warning, would probably glow incandescent color and illuminate the room. They don't. There's a chandelier. It's placed. Yeah, just adding some more of that. I can't remember what we called it, but it was kind of like futuristic gothic space station aesthetic. Futuristic stairs. But okay, so there's another security camera blinking at you, watching you. This doesn't do anything. And you hear some grumbling over there, but okay. It's a blue door. Oh, remember they mentioned blue security keys. Yeah. So, oh, what's this? Oh, it's another screen. And it says, blue security access card required. Power online. Lock system online. Mainframe connected. There is one pending firmware update available. Contact system administrator. It's for all the IT fans out there, of course. So it says, scan blue security access card to unlock door. And there's like a little laser field. So blue, it said blue, everything. Okay, you got the idea? Hopefully we've been clear. Seems to be some sort of high voltage breaker for this particular system controlling the door. I really like, since it's double story, 2-story high, I like doing the window up there to show you that the room beyond is also tall but short, and there's something else beyond that's also tall and looks like it's taller. Spoilers, it's an elevator with a window. But I like giving you the preview of where it's going, where you should be going, without showing you exactly, right? So we're back here. Yep. Okay. Another blast above that corridor to imply there's a second story there. Yeah. We're going to go up there. That corridor. I guess I'll just go this way first. So we have a door. Ooh, a purple door. Ooh, that's bright. Whatever. Purple door, black. I think we've learned already that black means it's not working. Yep. Camera. A security camera that is fixated on that door. Note. We'll see it again in a moment. This is the same corridor I keep pointing out. This is the plain version of it. Yep, totally plain. So, another one of these. Yep, giving off orange. And here's another hallway. Again, same hallway, differently designed. And you can tell the sconces. And it's got backsplash. And anyway, blast door, it's closed. Blinking red light, another security camera on it. And it says, security lockdown active. Corridor blast door sealed. Well, that makes sense. That's exactly what it should do, right? Close the blast doors between sections of the space station when you're under lockdown. Yes, of course. Another one of these, but this time orange and green instead of red and red. Okay. So, seeing that. So, I'm going this way. Okay. Pretty normal room, I think, right? Except for, yep, the skull, skeleton, whatever, candelabra. But notice the banner, the purple tone on tone. Have you seen that before? Yes. Castle Ravenswich. That is the 4 eyes logo of Ravenswich with the IO symbol and then a nice yellow gold backsplash. So, gosh, if you haven't figured it out by now, and the name of it being Space Station Ravenswich. Anyway, these booths, just a system failure, uplink to mainframe ended. This is the same thing on that one. But clearly, these are people's workstations in the future, and they're just dummy terminals, obviously networked. Boom. Okay. Now, on this nice little table is a shrunken head in a jar. Gee, I say, I'd love to know how they do that. We've seen that in Ravenswich before. Yep. Weird. So this, nothing. Okay, but this one has something. It's another obelisk statue. It's a little meeting room, boardroom kind of thing. I like how plain this room is. It's very plain, grayscale architecture, because These are, yes, the same chairs from Ravenswich, Castle Ravenswich, except they've been turned metallic with purple cushions, and the legs changed to a pillar leg. Again, keeping with the architectural themes of the Ravenswich trilogy, but just in a more sci-fi kind of way. Sci-fi being, obviously, metallic, yay! The table, too. I mean, I think I first made this table with these kind of legs in the underground, but they're all over Ravenswich and Castle Ravenswich. And then in Ravenswich, there's this identical statue, but in copper. Now it's just in silver metallic. Lamp. I've used that lamp before in ways, but it's smaller this time. And then instead of doing a like modern light bulb, yeah, it's just got this bar of a light bulb with delineations. So go out here. There's nothing in that room. There's not supposed to be. Sometimes you need nothing. No jump scare, nothing, right? So, oh, we'll be up there later. In the end, that would get our show at pass and not be visible at all. So, I got this. I got some blue. This is what I called ugly wallpaper through Ravenswich and Ravenswich, the castle, just in blue. So, more hints, I guess. Moving in here. Alright. So, we have this room. Okay. And some lockers. And what I wanted to do with this would be a jump scare of when you near their lockers, one locker door would open up. And actually, they'd probably have to be reversed, so it would open up this way. And a robot would fall out. But he wouldn't fall out and hit the ground. He'd fall out being caught by his wires or something in the locker. And when he's down, kind of like this, hanging, his head would turn and look at you. That was going to be awesome. It wouldn't so much be a jump scare. I guess falling out would be an initial jump scare. But the extra, like, oh, that happened. As you wait an extra second, the head turning to you was going to be that unsettled creepiness. So, yep, mudroom. And this looks like, since that's a workstation with a fancier chair and two chairs here, this is kind of where you might be interviewed by station security. When you came in, you come over here, sure. So what does this sign say? Log entry, Secretary to Security Chief Johnson. The chief had to lock up one of his subordinates earlier. Something about a severe panic attack and really losing his head. Hopefully he'll cool down after the trank takes effect. So another one of those things that make you feel a little uneasy. Like, what? So here's an elevator shaft. Step inside. Like, what? Okay. I love that. It's just so, yeah. Another torn apart body comes down from the shaft and there's nothing there. So, two things design-wise with this. It's an elevator. It's a switch that I created in the style of Doom. I used that kind of switch in my No Man's Land deathmatch map that I made here in Anyland. I just recolored it purple and cyan for Ravenswich colors. And this is a sub-thing, a rideable sub-thing. It's a real elevator when I flip that switch. But as a backup, because it's nice to have backups, in case of elevator failure, climb ladder. This is actually a climbable ladder. So, just in case. Going up. One story, not very far. Ooh, that feels cool. All right, here we are. What do we got to say about this? This is the security booth. And this is obviously where Chief Johnson, the security officer, whoever he is stationed. And he looks out in the little hub space, the waiting area. And people are chilling. Okay. All right. Okay. As we get closer to his spot. If you hear that, the other side of this wall, right down there where the positional audio took place, of that running kind of, is that tunnel, the bloody tunnel, right over there. So implying that there is something in that tunnel still. Anyway, you see it right there? Right there. Yep, we've seen that in Ravenswich. And of course, Castle Ravenswich. That is definitely a Ravenswich artifact. So what is it doing in the space station? What is it doing in the Chief of Security's office? Anyway, so this is the log of Security Chief Johnson, dated October 30th, 2012. When I was writing these, a couple of us, well, a friend of ours was playing Doom 3, and as we were watching him play, all those security logs, they all sound the same. They all sound overly serious voice acting, so I had to do a play on that. Been hearing strange noises from the air ducts while at my desk. That's that strange noise. Boom. But there can't at all be anything in there, and the station personnel in this section are counted for. Though Sergeant Starfell is, well, he's taking a long rest. Kind of, yeah. Sergeant Starfell is dead. But the whole log reads like those Doom 3 logs. Like, oh, there's something in the space, but there can't be, and, nobody's scheduled to work down here, that kind of thing. All right, so security booth, console. I'll just show 2 screens, all stacked out. This is a blast door. It's actually the one down there. And this is a blast door, and it's the one I went first down that way. And then this is that purple door. I remember it was black because you can't just touch it. Press to unlock, okay? So static and switches over, and you can hear positional audio at the door, it opening. Kind of did that in a very Myst style. Imported screenshots. Perfect. Don't need an actual video. I don't need to go that crazy. So now you know it's open. It's open for everybody. So we'll go there. Obviously, we'll go there. Now, 2 things. You can flip the switch and wait for the elevator to come up. I won't do that. I'm actually going to take... Yep, the fast way. Okay. All right, move it along, move it along. Go through here, and we'll see this is open. Oh. Okay, so it's a room with stuff. And... remember, he lost his head, and Sergeant Starfell's, taking a long rest? He's dead. But there is a blue keycard in his dead hand. Great, let's go get it. Ew. So the hand and all is on a sub thing, and when looked at, it moves, and then the 2 red lines are 2 projected lines to be as if tendons stretched out because they're holding the hand. So if you go to grab the security key, hold on, I'm too close to stuff. You get the whole hand. I don't need a flashlight anymore. And it's still bleeding. Like, oh boy. So if you thought you were just going to get the key, you got the whole bloody hand. And the back of the key card has a little code, barcode kind of look. That's kind of fun. So we know where to use this. We're going through here. All right. Blue security. Scan blue security access card to unlock door. Yep. It's simply a, when the invisible plate right here, is touched by something with this name. I can't. It's a something of a something. So you can't get the real name of the, to prevent cheaters. You can't just say, oh, I'll just name any old thing right arm, and then, nope. So anyway, the door opened, and that guy is here. Yeah, it's the same guy that was briefly visible through the gate. He doesn't do anything. He just sways a little, with his head jittering and him mumbling. But he's totally unsettling. And it's a small room. You have to go around him. And you totally expect something, anything to happen. But nothing will happen. That's my favorite part. I don't know. Sometimes I like creating something that is unsettling and doesn't jump scare you. Even though you expect it to, your anxiety is like, but nothing happens. So anyway, you're in another elevator shaft, much taller. And again, I did another climbable ladder, just in case. And this window, double window, lets you see you going up. It's very cool. Gives you that sense of presence. And cool. There's also another skylight up into space to give you, again, a sense of presence. So we're here. And there goes. I'm going to grab another flashlight. Just another hallway. Ravenswich banners. Yeah. Security camera watching us. This hallway is exactly the same effect I created in Haunted Witch House 1 as a displacement effect. But hopefully, like in Haunted Trails 1, with things going on, you just don't even notice. So, here we go. Light breaks. Blast door goes down. And then, yeah, static. It's another one of those signs. Who cares? We're going to go around here. Yes, it's dark. That's the point. Strobe light. Go through. Okay. We're here. Strobe light. Okay. That was the teleport. That's all. I don't have much to say. But you probably won't notice. And you won't feel it. So that's awesome. All right. Another mod room. Cool. Mod rooms. All right. That, right in the center, obviously is giving off light to the room. But it's also meant to prevent you from just running straight through to that door. To make you stop and look around and say, what's this door? Oh, can't go there. I thought about making just a few rooms that way. That, again, you could go to and end up turning around because there'd be nothing there. But then I figured, streamline it. Our worlds, past few worlds, many of the worlds Delco and I have made have been gigantic. So, trying to stay in control, trying to be reasonable. So we need to go to that door, but first... Yay, skeleton! A little spookiness. Skeleton and everything, great. Alright, another hallway. Very normal. Pipes, very normal. Alright, moving along. Okay, there's a little room. Red cubes are, don't worry about that, but we put those down as teleporters from the starts of our world when we're building so that we can instantly teleport to a later place in the world. Sometimes it's the runes, but then sometimes we do a bunch of extras. Security camera. A table with the obelisk and glasses? Goblets or something. And what does this bottle say? It says absinthe, 110 proof. Good stuff. Bottled in 1899. What do we know was in 1899? Oh, the first Ravenswich. Has this survived for 300 years or something? No. Maybe it was taken directly from Ravenswich. It was. Anyway, another one of those, like, if you're paying attention, you'll notice that's weird. Move into here. This is where the fun begins. Normal looking room. We'll step inside. Something that way just exploded. The whole room shook, but it didn't make me sick at all. How did that happen? How do you do that in VR? Everything in that room, including the room, is a sub thing. And I just want to point this out because I said it was normal, but now the pipes have burst and you actually can't backtrack anymore. you're stuck. That burst, supposedly that stuff's so hot you heard it go sizzle when you're in it. Supposedly it's so hot that you would never ever transit. Yeah, anyway, so everything in this room, on the walls, the desk, all this stuff is on one sub thing. And when you step into the room, it's personal. The sub thing moves. Just a couple times, just like this. Untweened, not smooth. So it gives the feeling that everything shook, because it did. But you don't get sick because you, the player in VR, were never moved. You're still standing fixed. Everything moved around you. I don't know. It worked. Anyway, this door. Let's see. Oh, red lighting. Plain corridor because we didn't need to do too much detail. Interesting ceiling bits though. More steam. Oh crap. Delco's spooky sound effects. I love it. Okay. So things are busted. Something blew up. There's a red warning light. Let's see. Oh my god! Our spaceship is blown up! And the blast door is just closed. And the mercenary's little ship clearly is destroyed. Oh my god, everything is... Well, it's floating. Wait, it's floating because even the artificial gravity generator just got destroyed. Let's see if I can... No, probably not. Okay. Now they say warning. The consoles instead of the info. Holy moly macaroni, right? Like, look at all the broken pieces of our ship. Our mission was to find out what happened and get back to headquarters. How are we going to do that? So this is something I wanted to do. I was going to do this. Once we did the hangar and started building, I'm like, we need to go up a story to this window. I want to blow up our ride that we arrived in. To give you that hopeless feeling, to give you that we're stuck on the space station vibe. We have to keep exploring. I want to go big. Go big or go home. I want to do a big cinematic style. Like, how the heck do you do that? It's easy. This is a 100% copy of the hangar. The teleport I mentioned took you way up into the sky, where I just took everything in the hangar and went up with it, a clone of it. And then, obviously that's not the real spaceship. That's just, extra parts. Delco made the rotating light here when we got the blast doors closing. And that way I could do the floating obelisks and give you that sense that, like, yeah, that's problematic. And then this corridor, of course, is always red lit and with steamy pipes. Obviously, you can't see it until you experience the explosion. The explosion is the room shaking with the sound effects that's positional audio over here, which leads you to going down this corridor and feeling like it happened there. Awesome. So, I did all these pipes, and I did 2 types of these pipe walls, or whatever you want to call them. And then, let's see. Nope. Yep. And sometimes I inverted them. So that worked out really well to add detail without using a texture. To give you 3D detail. 3D detail, yeah. And then just slapping on a pipe thing that's emitting a particle effect. We originally had these emitting like the steam sound, but only some would play at a time. And it really was awesome for immersion because as you get closer to each one, you hear it. Cool. But the fact that not all of them would play, and they wouldn't all play at once, it was just over-engineered, as we like to say. So, where can we go? This is a little alcove space, and then there's a gate up there. Look this way again, and you can see back there. That's cool. Yep, that's there. Okay, so there's a gate. Placed red light gives that awesome shadow effect to the gate. Like, ooh, I love that. So you get closer, and you can look down there, kind of, only so much. And you'll see that there's kind of a corridor there, but it does just end. Obviously, you're not meant to ever go there. So coming back this way. Nice. Yep. So as we could see, this is just like a pillar dividing up this space. Yep, I like that. I think this actual room was something I saw in Doom 3 similar. And I was like, ooh, that's a good idea. Walls with lots of piping. It's 2 short spots that lead to the same spot, though. But you, at first, might think from here that it's 2 different corridors. Yeah, I like that effect in game design. So, we'll come through here, and we see... I don't know how to describe it, really, but it's probably data being zipped through at super fast speeds, maybe. And some sort of network pipeline. So let's go through. Oh. I love that. Delco hand animated all of that. So this pops off there, and then the paddle falls, and he hand animated it to feel like it's sliding down realistically. So there's a nice auxiliary control, but it's, busted. Behind the broken static glass of the screen is that. What is that? Right? Different power levels. Cool. All this is fun. And then, not a skylight, but something that's giving off God rays and light, and more data terminals. So we kind of have this corner. Nice. And a little hallway and doorway. So we'll step in here and turn here. Oh. Purple gas. Have you seen purple gas before? Yes. Featured prominently in Ravenswich and showed up occasionally in Castle Ravenswich in a much smaller way. So, broken pipe, broken tube that Delco hand animated to look freaking awesome, like it's blowing out gas in a chaotic manner, an uncontrolled way. The cough from breathing in all this gas. We keep going. Okay, into a corridor. Whoa! I love doing big monsters that come at you and pass through. In VR, that's an amazing feeling. I mean, it's a horrible feeling. It's a jump scare feeling. It's a scary feeling, but it's awesome for what it is. So that big guy was in Castle Ravenswich a couple times. So more tie-in for the space station that guy's there. Cool. You can see broken. We're going down there. Or can we go down? What's over there? What's beyond that hole? Let's go that way. Again, so just as you got used to that big guy coming at you, something weird comes at you with a creepy sound effect really fast, so fast you can't even sidestep it. It's a floating skeleton torso, kind of like the one that was in the display box in Castle Ravenswich in the museum area. But he has a glass dome over him, kind of like security guard guy. We'll see another one of him, I believe. And he was that was going to be like the space station security drones, as weird as that is because they're skeletons. But you can't get by here. There's just an empty corridor. But you see it's all broken out. And clearly this wall broke out to show what's down here. Okay, let's go down. What is it? It is a server room, basically. I'll show that in a minute. So that says server room status. Let's say hot 5000 or something. As you get closer. Oh, not good. Oh, not good, of course. Server room status, not good. It blue screens when you get close to it. Anyway, another security camera. I will turn on the light because it's very, very dark, which is the point. This is Delco's 2112 Future Retro Encabulator. He remade his Retro Encabulator, but in a Space Station Ravenswich more futuristic style. And then we get to use that later. Not just as decoration, but more directly. So you're in the server room, and you can hear... Oh! What did I say that I activated my guns? It's been so long since I... There we go. Anyway, the server room. You hear that hum of the servers. Obviously, each pillar is identical, and I just added sides, I guess, in different places. So, like, yeah, this is supposed to be like what? CD, DVD discs? And I don't know what that is, but you know. So here's the door, and we can't go in there. So, ostensibly, this is one way you could get into the server room, not through a hole in the wall. So this, you know, no explosions. So we can go through here and see. We've got purple wires, not unlike tentacles you might have seen, in Ravenswich. I like these, and I think, yep, there, because you're gonna have to pass through them, and unless you go this way, right? But normally you have to pass through them, and they're right at eye level, so you gotta like go through them. Yeah. So, oh, does that security camera look a little different to you? Does it look a little more like an eye, perhaps? Hence the blinking from before. Yeah, okay, so things might have changed. Let's move along. And we'll start getting to spots that aren't finished yet. So, we're in here. Okay, blast door. There's some clicking going on over there. What's that? Red light. There is a purple monster hand that was severed, I guess, by the door, or before the door closed, perhaps? That's why it's on this side and not here. Okay. Another one of those security cameras that looks new and different. Okay, cool. I like how this is divided, but with a window. And unfinished, you can see this guy in a straitjacket. He was just going to be like a security guard, or maybe a scientist in a lab coat. Not in a straitjacket, but just kind of like holding himself. And maybe shaking his head. Well, he was going to be dead, so no, he wouldn't be shaking his head. Because this is blast glass. So whatever happened over there, he took refuge behind this while the door closed, right? Yep, every time you can open one of these, would have a flashlight. Like we used to say, a refresher lantern in the Haunted Worlds. Now it's a refresher flashlight. Placeholder, because this says station lockdown activated. Retina scan by authorized personnel required to deactivate. Contact station security team. Power online. Locking systems online. Mainframe connected. So right here, there's going to be a computer panel device that could do a retina scan. It's gonna be all like fancy and whatever, and if you put your own eyes up to it, nothing would happen. In fact, it would go the same error beep, right? But right here, I was going to have splayed out like this, with his arms out, and a body, a dead body, like somebody died and on there. But his eyes would be open, close enough to the retina scanner. You get where I'm going with this? His head would be separate from everything. It would be a grabbable thing. You'd pick up his head, and there'd be two projected lines to his neck, so you could lift his head and put the eyes up to the scanner, and the red tendons would stretch out as you did that. And when you let go, his head would snap back, much like the knife in the start of Castle Ravenswich in the opening lounge, right? So that was going to be that. It was going to be gruesome. Because, I mean, the first thing you're going to do is try your own eyes. And it would go, and then you'd have nothing else to do but figure that out. So you do that, and it would go, doop, doop. And this was going to change to say, whatever. And then this would happen. The light The door opens. From this point on, all security doors will be open. You can't backtrack to check because none of those other ones would open. And all future ones we just started open. Yeah. The light, you just deactivated the lockdown, just like it said. So, station lockdown cleared. All security systems operating within normal parameters. Very Star Trek-y. Station security set to default. Cool. Online connected. Yep. Okay. So that changed to orange from red, and now this light is no longer red. That opened, and what do we have? A bloody corridor with turrets. And stuff is ruined. So I step inside. That's a turret gun. That is dead. Broken glass. The same chandelier, little guy. Or lamp. Ceiling lamp, but now broken. This gun. Delco's got as if it ran out of ammo, but it's still trying to shoot and aim, which I believe is an homage to Aliens movie. Right here, I wanted to have one of those black cloaked weird guys, like the one that came rushing at you earlier and the ones that you saw in Castle Ravenswich. I wanted him like leaning over, and as you step in or look at, he'd just vanish. And give you more of that unsettling feeling that something's here. So yeah, red texture all over the walls. And knocked out. Yeah. Clearly, whatever that was from was in this hallway and got shot to hell by these two turrets, which one is dead and one ran out of ammo but is still functioning. So who knows where he is. It is freaky. Yeah, okay. So let's move along. Notice. Candles. There are candles in a space station on the floor. Okay, this is the first time we start switching that over. So the security camera looks more like an eyeball now. If you look closely, it's got a pupil. And now candles, so like, oh, ritualistic stuff. Ravenswich style. So this says, security lockdown has been terminated. Corridor blast doors all unlocked and opened. Have a nice day. So easy. Keep the door open because you can't see until you unlock that. Yeah. And then you don't have to change the thing. It never had to say a warning. And just say what it is to start. So then we have this corridor, long corridor. And as we go down here, I'll read this. This is fun. Station status, the time. Wow, been doing this video for a while. Systems area, oh, it glitched offline. Hello, Jinx. Your persistence is a nuisance. Vacate this station. Leave us be. We will not be interrupted. System online, mainframe online. Min power, 33%. Remember, it was glitching at 34? Well, it's a little more stable, but it's down a percent. Life support, structural integrity. So I like this. And this is the only time the text is calling you out directly. It's so easy after all this craziness that you would just, oh, there's another one of those. Let's see what's down this way. So if you stop and read it, you get a little spookiness, like the station. The space station is talking to you. A little, System Shock, Portal, Dead Space even. I like all those. I like all the stuff where there's something, a malevolent computer entity maybe, or just entity in general. So you come through here, and there's my chandelier, plenty bright, and it's an observation to, and this would be a operating room. You know, the walls would have cabinets and tools and jazz. That guy in a straitjacket, twisting his head, he would just say no, 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 over and over, just like I did with that guy in the straitjacket in House of the Haunted Witch House 3 in one of those asylum rooms. So you can see the something controller that I used. So yeah, he'd be like, no, 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 no. If you can see over there, maybe not. Can I get the glare away? I don't know how it shows up in video. There are a bunch of huge tentacles in a jail cell wiggling around. And the blood also wouldn't be there. That would show up later. But Delco made this really nice transparent blood texture on a shape that could be overlaid on anything else. So love it. Anyway, that wouldn't be there. So the idea is that like you'd see this guy on an operating table, operating stuff around, and that tentacle thing, and you'd be like, oh, there's a doorway, so I should probably be going that way. Yep. Okay, so we're going to go this way. Now what would happen is, again, candles, no candelabras. Notice, too, I'll point this out, anything that's electric, anything that was electric, lamps, sconces, lanterns, candelabras, they're all broken. Like broken. And in the areas now are candles. So I liked this idea, this lore idea, that I'll get to some more of that, I think, towards the end. But the cultists who are now in control of the space station, electric lighting, fluorescent lighting and stuff, it aggravated them. It was annoying to them. It, I don't know, gave them headaches or made them crazier than they already were. So they started destroying electric lights and then putting out just normal incandescent candles, just totally normal stuff, right? But you know, space station is dark, so you still needed candles. Yeah, that's part of the lore. So we'll go down this tight little spirally staircase. It's not a perfect spiral staircase because that's boring, so it kind of meanders. I like that. There is nothing this way. And guess what? Now that the lockdown is off, futuristic sci-fi doors act like they should. They automatically open when you get near them, and they will forever beyond. So, as you go down that spiral staircase, and you saw it took me a moment because you have to actually go down, you can't just run through, you would hear a boom and a lot of screaming, and then silence. Yeah, here we go. Those tentacles would vanish, and the jail cell bars, whatever it is, would be broken. There's actually a little dark room back there. And this guy would be gone, and the blood would be there. And I think that light up there would be out. Totally, completely out. So this would be a dark room where after you hear an explosion and some screams, there's nothing. So you might be like, what the hell is over here? There'd be nothing. That's a door reopening because it closed. And this guy would be gone, and this room would just be like, oh crap. Someone alive is no longer. And okay, so yeah, that was a big animation thing I was gonna do. So you come through here, and did you see that guy? I didn't highlight him, but that was another one of those skeleton sentry drone dudes. He just rushes off. So I was like, oh crap. Okay, so remember where we scanned the blue security door card? Yeah. So this is supposed to be one of those blue security doors also. So operation theater unlocked. So that way is the operation theater, and this is how you would normally get into it. So we're kind of going in backwards, right? Okay, anyway. Now look at it. Right? So instead of being so chromed out, you can see the sphere of it itself is more brain-like in its pinky texture. And then it has extra Borg-like hoses, metallic hoses added on. So you see the cameras are evolving. They're becoming actual big eyes. Where else have we seen big eyes with Ravenswich? iPads? Yes. Point this out real quick. It's another broken electric lamp. Before I show you, the candles in a little salt circle. Very ritualistic. Yes. Okay then. These are the runes that I've explained many times. We put in worlds so you can teleport from the start when we're building, so we can get straight here without having to go through everything to get there. So, corridor, Kind of plain corridor because you're not supposed to care about the details right now. Broken lamp. You're going through that door. Another one of these. Eyes looking at me. Looking especially spooky. Yep. Oh, also note, now when it blinks, it makes a squelchy sound. The squishy squelchy sound. The fleshy sound. Yeah. Candle. Candles right at the base of the candelabra as we go downhill. Again, not straight. We're going downhill, which is nice to have variations. Don't mind the lights. So yeah, broken with a candle. Still want light, but these are broken. All right, so now we get into, I don't know, the experimental wing, I guess. Big vats, which we never filled, but would be filled with monsters and other interesting things. At the top, some sort of structure with pulsing tentacles leading from it to the vat. Again, Ravenswich, Eldritch Horrors. Instead of just having a tube, maybe a tube that fills it with liquid or refreshes it, it's pulsing tentacle. Ew. Okay, so that's the way to go, but I want to show this way first. A blast door, but I said that they would all be open, didn't I? Yes, I did. Terminal online. Station lockdown deactivated. See? Access to the station from this section restricted. Blast door sealed until further notice. Just a way to imply that there's more space station that way, and maybe that's actually where you would normally come to and from. But you can't get there from here right now. Broken. Boxes to blockade this hallway. And then more candles. So, cool. Yeah, it's dark. I know how dark it is. Not quite so dark in VR, but I know how dark it is on video. Just kind of show you. The walls have the cool pulsing green that Delco designed. All right, going through here. There's a pillar. Yep, metallic pillar. Very cool. Again, not something you normally see in a space station. But brutalist architecture, right? Just make it interesting. All right, moving along. Oh, let me illuminate this for you. Purple tentacles. Oh, different sizes. Oh. Another blockade, so you can't just walk that way. You have to go this way. But look. They grew out of this door. Can I touch? Can I? Of course not. How'd you do that? No. So, fun. But yeah, tentacles grew out of this door. Started covering the doorway and growing, but then growing in size. And growing up and around and moving. And, we're going to have to walk past. It's so close. But no, these were the green vines I've used since the underground. I just turned them plastic purple so they were shiny and organic. Oh, that one's pulsing. Okay, so again, these tanks would actually have stuff in it. Monsters, I guess. Aliens. Eldritch Horrors. I don't know. We didn't get there. But they wouldn't be... They obviously still transparent like they are. But there would be stuff to see. And then purple wires. Just like in the server room. So yeah, you meander through here. And then to the left, we're going to see that guy. Oh, no, I already made him vanish. The guy in the straitjacket that quivers, he stands right there. And when looked at, he vanishes. But I think I was able to get a line of sight unknowingly, made him vanish. This was going to be another mod room, another few mod rooms perhaps that you'd go through. Remember how I said the hangar is way above? I could just barely make it out down there. Ha, my body. Right down there. I just barely make it out. That's the real hangar you came in on. That's why the gas giant is in line. And that's why it seems like it's up here. But there wouldn't be a window, so you wouldn't normally see that. This is just for this video since it's unfinished. And you can see the other rooms. Anyway, come out through here. Okay, and again, there's stairs and an upper area, a little balcony, statues. Ooh, I like that statue is kind of like looking out, like Almost kind of like a Doctor Who Weeping Angel, even though it's not at all supposed to be like that at all. It just has that vibe. Like, why the hell would anyone make a statue that's... No. There's another one over there. Yeah, so let me just show this space, because there's awesomeness in there I gotta show. But right here, before you go upstairs, there are 2 tanks. What are these 2 tanks? Well, one, that's Castellan from Castle Ravenswich. The final Castellan, because he's a skeleton, he's not a ghost. And you can tell he's got his mask and his walking stick, his cane. So he was retrieved, and we know probably how, because there's a portal, a rip in space-time and dimensions between Space Station Ravenswich and Castle Ravenswich, ergo the ending of Castle Ravenswich. So that was easy. In this one, we have very important guy. You see his initials on his sleeve. It's Aaron Winchesterson. Yes, the man you were chasing in Ravenswich, who made a similar appearance towards the end of Castle Ravenswich, because he had been killed in the Eldritch world at the end of Ravenswich. So yeah, he ended up here as well. And I just like this. A mausoleum, sarcophagus style, from a mausoleum. And then this is one of the statues you can find in the other Ravenswiches, but I like how he's kind of like lording over the sarcophagus. One thing we were going to do, and I was going to place it right here. Oops, right here. So it would be a little out of the way. It would be a hack tool, like you see in some games, and the Hack-a-Majig in Deathloop especially, where you just hold it, and there'd be a door that was locked, that there'd be no key for, but you needed that, and you needed to get up to the door, and then while holding it, press trigger, and then it would go boop, 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 and then unlock the door. Yeah. So while we're here, like I said, this is important. This room is very important. So I want to show that. Again, when neared. Okay. First off, do you recognize anything in here? Maybe, maybe not. Okay, what about that picture? What is it? Oh, experiment 6112. Status ongoing. Duration 7 years. Well, several years after drilling tunnels deep underground, hint, hint, into the asteroid, we populated them with various items, runes, and etc. So far, only the diminutive green humanoids have survived. All others perished before long. So another security console with a camera labeled. I'm sure you recognize that. That's the entrance to the underground. So I said Space Station Ravenswich was supposed to be a mining space station built into an asteroid. Reading that, seeing these items. Delco's lovely. Oops. Yay, I love that. Notes and a pen. Crystal cave. Crystals. The always fun doorknob gag that falls off and a torch. Nope. Okay, can't go that way. So what do these windows show us? Do you see it? Do you see everything? Can I light it in through? Yeah, I can. Okay. So what is this? A trapdoor and a ladder that's been pulled up from the trapdoor. A rope gun for launching, ropes and grappling hook types. An eye bat. Some purple lighting. Do you recognize all this stuff? This is the underground stuff. Stuff here, stuff there. But this is the canon entrance, finally, since 2017, to the underground. I know a lot of people had made their own entrances to the underground in their worlds. Even Philip did in the Blue Castle area, which is awesome. And Delco and I are so honored that people would do that and cared so much and thought so much of our world. When we were designing this, and you can see underground style cave walls, rock walls, where it comes down on the floor to the actual mod room. Anyway, when we were designing this and space station, mining station built into an asteroid, we had the idea of what if the underground, since we never explained where it was supposed to be or anything, and you could never see outside, and we just never explained, and that was the point. What if it was inside an asteroid? What if it was actually an experiment in this kind of demented space station cultist group? And when they talk about the diminutive green humanoids, those are the little goblins that you can find in the underground, modeled after our friend Cabbage, his avatar. So what if it was an experiment where you take people you don't like, or capture or otherwise, you throw them in there, and then you don't have to throw them in there. You lead them down by ladder, right? And then you come back up and pull up the ladder. What if you let them just explore that whole area by themselves? And yeah, eventually they will die of starvation, no doubt. But so we tied in the underground into the Ravenswich, story universe trilogy, and IBATs. The IBATs in Anyland first showed up. My first design, my first world using them was the underground, towards the end near the lava cave, and it can be seen in my Subthings video tutorial. IBATs are there. So it all ties in. So going in here, another unfinished room. We have a nice room. Broken. Again, ooh, look at that, a triple candlestick. Broken electric lights. Nice, little fun stuff. This is, the coffin-shaped shelf, which you definitely see in Ravenswich. In here. Oh, Ravenswich banner. Another refresher lantern. Yeah, flashlight. And this says, did it? Oh, yeah. Artifact storage room 17. Clearance levels. Manifest documentation. So theoretically, you'd push these buttons. They just beep. And they might change. I was never going to program that much work into it. But I like the idea of that being the home screen. So this door is already open, friendly, to let you in. Shelves. And we're going to put artifacts and stuff on the shelves. This is where the blood samples would also be. So, walk in here. See, you walk in, and lights turn on. Oh, here's one artifact. The phone. The phone from House on the Haunted Woods Trials 3 that, if you get one of the random numbers when you spawn in, will randomly ring on you loudly. So, that's just a fun add-in. So, again, these are well lit still. But that's okay, because they're candles. We come up here. Oh, I started recording this after I did a walkthrough. That door's normally closed. That's fine. Just, it would be a blast door. That's down. Statue. I've seen that guy before. The new statue, the pumpkin and the raven. Cool. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We'll go there. And, what was it? Counter? So, what is this? A nice counter. And again, this would be a blast door that's down, so ignore that for a moment. Because you would read this, and it would say, yellow, security access card required. Power online, lock systems online, mainframe connected. Portal generators power restored after station lockdown deactivation. So when you scan that guy's eyes and turned off the lockdown, it also restored the generators powering the portals. This is the last station part of this. Yeah. Anyway, scan yellow access card to unlock. This door would be locked, of course. This is telling you, just like the blue one, you're going to need to find a yellow card. Okay, yellow card. Real obvious. Just like the blue one. So, let's first go this way. Okay. Auto opens. Nice room. What is this room? It's like a brig. A jail cell. Okay, dim lighting. This is fun. Oops. Oh, don't need that. Hold on. Pushing too many buttons. Okay. Come here. Okay, so. Yep, brig. Let's see in there. And this one's open. Nothing much in here. But it's just a nice brig. I suggested, since Delco did all of this room, that when you step in here, as soon as you step in, you should hear whatever. And these gates should be closed. Like, oh, crap, you trapped yourself. But then, after, I don't know, 10 seconds or something, they would just reopen. That would be a fun little jump scare. Other than just having this totally empty. What does the security guard's panel say? It says, this is the personal log file of the holding cell's attendant, Sergeant Kelly. Sergeant Kelly. Big Doom 3 joke there. Anyway, it says, I'm only writing this so the warden thinks I'm working. Over and over and over and over. This is a direct homage to the underground with the warden's room in the underground by the jail cells. It says exactly that. There's a note on the table, and Delco made it say exactly that. So I just brought that back. All right, so we're back out here. We're going to go in this other door because, again, that would be locked. And it does say portal research. So, pumpkin, just in case. Okay, so just in case you forgot, it's Halloween, and that's part of the theme of the Ravenswich Universe. Pumpkin, but it's shiny because it's plastic. It's not a real pumpkin. And then the skull with the candles again. Yes. So we'll go in here. It's pink. And I'll step in. Oh. Ha. The arrow. For people who are observant and where you need to go. We'll step in. There's a candle in the pink. And there's a security card. But oh my God, this room's been oozed. Oh God. Oh, what happened in that room? Oh. Oh, that guy's been totally broken. Like, oh. Oh, ew. Oh, okay. So clearly we know what we need to do. We need that. The key card, the yellow one, the glowing one, the obvious thing. So stepping in to the ooze, and you do, so you can't see the bottom of my teleport because I'm actually like ankle deep in the ooze. So we get close. Lab 13. So we know this is lab tech. All right, I grab it. Oh. Oh, I'm oozed. Oh, God. Oh, I'm in the ooze. Let me get out of here. I can't get out of here. There. For a couple seconds after you get oozed, the ooze around you, the whole floor area becomes unwalkable. So to give you that feeling that, yeah, you're actually stuck in the ooze, stuck in this goo, whatever it is. Yeah, it's a cool effect. That's obviously uncollidable, so that, and resets after 30 seconds as things do. But uncollidable so that you don't actually get stuck, you don't glitch out, you don't cause a problem. So now I've got security access card. It's just, a yellow version of the blue one, barcode, different name. So you come up to here and you scan it. Access granted. And then this door would raise like the early security booth one. Cool. This you would put in your inventory or otherwise hold on to, just don't lose it. Corridor. Okay, broken light, candles. Again, broken sconces and candles. Yeah. And this says terminal status online. Link reestablished after station lockdown. Yellow access security now reactivated. I just got a ghost door effect, which we used to call from the underground way back in the day. Since I had been touring through here before I made this video, the door over there it just closed. Well, as I was reading that, and I heard it. That's weird. I don't remember doing that, but okay. Broken. Yep. Come around here. Oh, candle and a ritual circle. Yep. Okay, not cool. All right, so this, I'll snap in. But, oh, I'm going to have to reset and run over here because I want to show that animation. So let me do that right now. While, this is my homeworld, while we are talking. I don't want to stop the video or anything. I'm just gonna run through here real quick. Jump through. Okay, so Destroyed hangar start. Cool, good enough. That was just a sample of those teleport things and how they work. And maybe I'll show you this guy. There he is. Oh, he just vanished instantly when I looked at him. All right. Okay. Okay, cool. So, waste no time. The door's down, like I promised. And all you can do is yell security thing, so we'll just grab it. Right, I don't need to touch it anymore, because, yes. Doo-doo-doo. Oh, I've been slimed. I can't move. Yep, there we go. Okay, cool. Here we are. Very good, very good. Okay, wasting no time. We continue on. That. Okay, the door's down like it should be, so you can't... No popping back there. Shouldn't be. This room is obviously not textured yet. That's okay. Purple lights. I love that purple candle that Delco made for Castle Ravenswich and that flame effect, the two-tone flame effect. Love it. Okay, so there's another salt circle. Oops. Ritualistic stuff going on. Again, these obelisks to indicate that this is where you should go. This is important. But you can't. This is just for us when designing. It wouldn't be there. Purple security access card required. Power online, lock systems online, mainframe connected. For safety of the station and all personnel, this door closes automatically and locks securely. Keep your access card on your person at all times. Purple. Scan purple security access card to unlock door. That warning is just to let you know that this door won't stay open like that one did, like this one will. So that you should definitely have, if you have the purple key, you should have it in your inventory so you don't lose it. Mod room, unfinished area. That's cool. This, I think, is just, yeah, it wouldn't open anyway. Yeah, so Space Station Ravenswich, this is the portal area, which we're going to show, where they started experimenting with portal technology. Portal technology like frames that you generate a portal that you can step through. So, door locked. To get through there, you need, yay, yellow security access. Here we are. Again, untextured room. Portal frame. Look at that. Look at what... Okay, so a couple things I want to show before I get through Delco's retro encabulator and what all this going on. Viewing window. Okay, you can see, hopefully this shows that, this shows that all in the video. But there's another window, portal frame, view frame over there with a similar looking retro encabulator text setup. Yeah, okay. And you probably can't tell. I mean, there's space down there, so this is space station, obviously. Over there, over here, and up around there, and up, if you look up, are brown rocks. And this is supposed to be the part where the station is connected to the asteroid. At least one section of the station is. I mean, theoretically, a lot more would have been because it was supposed to be a mining station. But this part, you're supposed to notice that. It's supposed to be one of those, like, if you're watching, you're like, oh. And that'll come into play over there. And I say over there because we're going over there. But first, console. New retro encabulator. But there's more to it. What's more to it? Obviously, it is a Ravenswich artifact. But what else do we have here? A beating heart wired in. Yeah. And then, a tube and a tube. And tube goes to a jar with a brain in it. Like, this isn't your normal technology. The whole idea of Space Station Ravenswich that we wanted was, as you get in further and further and the cult is more prevalent, basically the cult is using more organic stuff and kind of less hard technology, like straight mechanical, electrical technology. So more Eldritch vibe, fleshy stuff. I Yeah, I'll say it now. But I was gonna have a door that'll actually be past there, where the door is locked and there's a heart and like heart tendons or something. I don't know, arteries going to the middle of the door. And nearby there's going to be a knife. And there's no way to open that door. But if you pick up the knife or the dagger and stab the heart and get the squishy sound, the heart would, be destroyed and the door would open. Just to show like, oh, an organic lock. What the hell is that? But it was going to be fun, interactive, and weird. And that's the point. So anyway, big computer tech console, computer tech. The breaker, switch breakers or something. That I know shows up in Haunted Witch House 2 in the basement beyond the Purple House, the basement of the Purple House. It also shows up in the basement of the Zork White House, but it's supposed to be some sort of water heater type oil tanker. I don't know. Then here's another box, flashing lights, purple, Ravenswich, with a knife switch, some sort of metal coiling. There's a metal coffin with a dude who's probably still alive, but probably not very alert. And he's clearly cuffed in here. But then there are tubes in him. Tube in his chest, bloody. Tube in his head. Possibly 2 tubes inside, I don't know. And this wire goes to the portal. The door is open on the coffin, and another tube goes into the portal. The portal has, don't worry about the black bit, the frame, but it also has clearly this extra bit with switches, bigger tube, and then maybe we've seen this in Space Station Ravenswich a few times with these maybe power indicators or something. Sure, okay. So, do you know what's going to happen? I think you know what's going to happen. I mean, I had to reset just so you would not see the end result. But the gruesomeness is going to happen. And I wanted to do this and show it. Like, make you do it so you get the full vibe of how did the cultists come up with portal technology? How is it operated? Well, it requires a live host. Well, actually, it probably doesn't have to be live. It does require a human being as a host for the power. Maybe the portal is partially generated by the human imagination. I don't know. Let's find out. Yeah. Yeah, it is gruesome. Yeah. You electrocuted the heck out of this guy. So the electricity come through the coils. And then up to him. The glowing yellow, like that, the beam coming out, is reminiscent of Stargate. Yes, TV show. Sometimes you get anyway. After you do that, what's going to happen is this portal would turn on, and it would be a portals like I've done many times, where it's an imported screenshot that's glowing. It would be the view of the portal on that side facing where you're going through. Anyway, it would appear, and there'd be a placed light to glow up this room so it felt like it was glowing, maybe a little particle effect. That guy's just going to do that forever. So then the place to go is you'd step through here, and you'd hit this, and you'd end up here. And yes, this is the other portal. And that is where you came from. And the cool thing with these viewing windows, first of all, it gives you a view of where you are going to and came from. Cool. But also, Anyland will render people at any distance, right? So if you're with people and you go through and come out and look, you can see your friends over there. And you can say, hi, and then they come through here. So just to give you, I wanted a portal that displaced you, but didn't confuse you. So I wanted you to know where you were going and be like, oh, okay. So I came and went through there. Oh yeah. Okay. Makes sense. Anyway, as you can see, there's more space, and this is creating a terrible glare at the moment, but there's rock and rock up there. Rock up there. Ugh, okay. So that's the asteroid. So if you're going to have a portal, it's a two-way portal, which we'll go back through in a sec. So you have the same stuff, maybe it's better lit this way with the beating heart, the brain in the container and all that. But note, the coffin case that ostensibly is containing a human being is closed. I wanted to show the horrible, horrible situation and make you do it the first time, but didn't have to do it every other time. There's one more portal frame. Didn't have to make you do it all the time. Just, you knew it happened. So now it being closed just implies that that's how it works. The knife switch is down and this portal would be already on because you're going to backtrack. Before you backtrack though, there would be this door. And look, you needed the yellow key. But whatever. I didn't bring it. I would have pulled it out of my inventory. That door opens. This would reveal, not the edge of the space station. Haha. This would reveal rock walls, underground style, and kind of go this way, and it'd be like a little twist and open up into a cavern. In that cavern would be a big fancy door, maybe like I don't think I've shown it yet, but the big marble skull door at the start of the Underground 2. Maybe something a little more odd. Maybe something that integrated the acolytes, the eldritch acolytes from Ravenswich. Anyway, it would be a big fancy door that clearly isn't part of the space station and clearly doesn't belong in that rock wall. There. Get a little flyby version, right? As it zips around. So, yeah, clearly in there, it was going to be a door that's like, what? Like, people didn't make this, engineer it, and it definitely doesn't belong in rock. So it's kind of like, did somebody, I don't know, make this before anyone ever arrived? And yes, the idea was that deep inside the asteroid is an eldritch god, or this dimension's extension of it, or something like that. So in that cavern would be this door, and clearly at some point in the unknown past, probably the ancient past, there had been a cult to this eldritch god, and they worshipped it here in its source or something. Anyway, that would be left over from that. You couldn't open that door. That door would have a pedestal that required an artifact, and when you had the artifact and you placed it, it would open the door. Artifact. A Ravenswich artifact. Yes. All right, I'm getting there. That cavern wouldn't have anybody in it except one dead body in Ravenswich purple robes. Again, cultist, right? With a purple key on the ground. Kind of like he had that purple key that you're going to need for back there. But he's dead. Why did he die? We don't know. Not important. He's dead. There'd be a note. And the note would probably say something about spookiness, but it would be a handwritten note. It wouldn't be one of the data pads. It would mention spookiness and the cult and stuff and fill out some of that. And anyway, you'd get to there, you'd see all this, and then you'd pick up the purple key, because now you know where you should be going, that door. You know you can't get there, but now you have the key for some place you couldn't get to a moment ago. So you'd backtrack through the tunnels. And the tunnels were going to be, like I said, underground style, but like mine shafts, so they'd have, braces and stuff in there. So it's going to be cool. So purple key in hand, you come back here, and you'd go through this portal. Yeah, so when you get backtrack and you've got your purple key, and remember, the first thing you see now are purple candles. Again, it's just a visual, quick reminder to link your brain into purple key, purple location, door, and purple key. Yeah, okay. I love these. Remember, the obelisks. They indicate someplace important. It's important to go there. Okay, so you bring the purple key to the obvious location. I love the light beaming out, place lighting. So that was going to stay when it was finished designed. So you come in here, going to keep a backup key right here, because remember, this door is going to close. And that's how you're going to reopen it. But if you didn't think ahead and read the sign like you're supposed to and put that in your inventory, don't worry, there'd be a backup. So you come in here, another portal. Yes, okay, portal. And now you can see Delco's retro encabulator done up in the horrifying eldritch organic circuitry in the light. And this portal frame is not on. And you can see the knife switch is up this time. And the coffin case with the body is closed. Because in this sense, you're still going to flip the switch. It's not working, but you'd flip the switch yourself again. This would light up. You'd hear the screams, and there'd be a yellow light beaming through. Just to remind you that, yes, you had to do the horrible thing of electrocuting somebody so badly that they're glowing. Holy crap. And then the portal would turn on. But what does the portal show this time? The Eldritch World. The purple sky Eldritch World. So in Space Station Ravenswich, they came up with portal tech, and they figured out how to wire up organics to create a portal. And they started doing local displacement, within the space station back and forth. And theoretically, with the lore of this place would be there would be many places like that they could get around the entire space station. But for a limited haunted experience for Halloween, we're not doing an entire space station. Holy cow. It was enough work just doing this as it was. So we just showed that as a demonstration. But not only did they end up doing local displacement, they realized they could go further. So far, in fact, they could actually teleport between dimensions. Just like, if you remember, the end of Ravenswich, the magic, the spellbook in the cavern, you learned the displacement spell, put your hand on it, and teleported to an alternate reality in the Eldritch World, the same cave in the Eldritch World. Well, this is now a non-magical based version of that, a whole tech version of creating a portal to the Eldritch World. So nowhere else to go. You would have to go through this portal. Okay, you'd end up in the Eldritch World. There wouldn't be a portal frame to get back. It's a linear path, and obviously you created this portal, so why would there be a way back? Anyway, which is interesting to think about too, yes. Anyway, we would do the same thing we did in Ravenswich. Not a separate area at all. Same area, but a huge purple dome with the vent black material, as we called it, but set to purple so that it was like sky. If you context lasered, it wouldn't light up like things do, which further made you feel like it was skied in infinite distance. And then we do, gray rocks, floating rocks in the distance, whatever. Short linear path in the Eldritch World, just to show that architecture again, that design again. When you'd go through a little meandering in the linear fashion, you'd get to an open area. And just like was in the Eldritch World in Ravenswich, there would be a red door in a wood frame in the middle, like this, of an area. Not against a wall, not against a rock wall, just in the middle. So you'd open it, just like in Ravenswich, and particle effect would pour out, and you'd get another screenshot as a portal, glowing there. And what would that show? That would show a brown door and kind of some ugly wallpaper and darkness. And you'd have nowhere else to go, so you'd have to go up to that and touch it. And I'll show you what you would end up, where you would end up. Here. Yeah. So, brown door. Ugly wallpaper, as I like to call it. But, do you hear that music? Tobin's Spirit Guide. Do you recognize any of this? That furniture? The Creeping Fear, a book by Howard Phillipson. Hey, we've seen that book before. Yep. Yes. Yes. You are in 1899 Ravenswich. Yes. And Delco made this wonderful phonograph, and the record is playing. Do you recognize it? Probably. The first music I composed in Ravenswich before it changed after you learned magic. So now it's like the Ravenswich music is diegetically in the actual world. I love that. I love that play on things. And this house and room is fun. 2 bay windows and a locked door. It's especially fun, this alleyway there, because in Ravenswich itself, there is a tight alleyway, and you do have to pass by a building that has 2 bay windows and a locked door. And one thing happens in there. As you go down that alleyway, there's a barking dog over there, right? And one of the panes of glass break out, and there's a little particle effect. And it's great because this hallway is just... alcove is dark, and you're just kind of going through to the next house. And that pane of glass breaks, and it shatters with a pink sound that's kind of sharp and loud. It was a jump scare with the particle effects coming in front of you. Minor, but it worked really well. So now... yes, it did it here. It did it here, as you have to approach the thing that you came here for with the particle effects that make it real obvious that you need to snatch it. I love time travel stuff in all media, especially when it's done really well, of course, but especially if there are self-fulfilling prophecies that avoid paradoxes. So in this sense, it's like you, from the future, traveling to 1899 Ravenswich, caused that glass to shatter. How? I don't know. Your presence, being there, maybe being from the future, you have an aura about you. Who knows? Whatever. But you, going through here in 1899, following the notes of Aaron Winchesterson to figure out what happened that night, experienced that same effect. So it's like you caused it for yourself. I love that in time travel stories. So I had to do something. If you're going back in time, back to Ravenswich 1899, something had to happen. You had to be there. There was the thought of having, like, making some NPCs come through here and time it, but I only wanted that to shatter when you were coming up to get this. So the timing of that would not be great, and it wouldn't be worth the work. I think not having people here makes it more spooky. People, NPCs. Anyway, in the cavern, in the asteroid, you realized you needed an artifact to put in a podium to unlock that door. And I did say the word artifact intentionally because throughout Ravenswich, there are these artifacts. These stone artifacts, the Ravenswich 4 eyes and the IO symbol in there, in the green wooden box, in the purple cushion, resting on a purple cushion. So I knew that I wanted to make these important in the future. I did have an idea of using the exact same thing that I had in the original Ravenswich, but to use this as a key, protected key, I don't just do with the lock mechanism or the pedestal in this case. I don't just do when touches named thing, artifact, then unlock, because anyone could just on the spot create something and give it that name, or like an obvious name, like a key for a door. So instead I had scripting, a handshake as it were, almost like an encryption. You hit pedestal, boop, it touches. It says when touches, special artifact, then the pedestal will send a tell nearby. Yeah, a tell nearby that has scripting in the artifact to listen for. Tell nearby, okay, I got touched. This says, when told by nearby, okay, I got touched, go to the next state. State 2 says, tell nearby, okay, I got touched, now let's open up. The pedestal now has another part that says, when told by nearby, okay, I got touched, now let's open up. Actually sends another tell command to the door that says, go ahead and open up. The something for the door. So it's complicated, but that's also how we did the scavenger hunt items for the cauldron in Haunted Woods Trails 1 and 2, so that you couldn't just grab a bunch of things and name them item 1, item 2, item 13, and just start throwing them in. You actually did have to find the actual artifacts, scavenger hunt items, in both of those worlds, which made it a real game, and not just something you could cheese and cheat through. So, yeah, anyway. Again, you're in Ravenswich because of furniture and all that stuff. The triple candlestick holder, the candle on the plate. That chest Delco made for Castle Ravenswich was never in the original Ravenswich, but could have been in the houses if, it made sense. So now you have your artifact, you move on to this door. And you came out of that door. The table's in the way, so you couldn't just like run here and miss. You had to go this way. So you had to go to the obvious glowing purple thing and use your brain and grab this. Yeah, okay. And then travel over here to there. Okay, cool. So we're going to go here. I don't even need this because it's not in. Open that up, and what do we have? Yeah, it's a super, super dark stairwell. I might have put a candle sconce on the wall here just to illuminate a little. That would also night blind you from the bottom. It's already dark enough, right? But whatever. Come down here, and what do we find? Another small room, and what the hell is that? All right, we got a triple candlestick holder on table. We got a desk and chair. Low ceiling, which is nice and fun feeling. And that is a rip in space-time. We've seen that at the end of, yes, Castle Ravenswich. At the top of the tower at the end, you go through something like that in the walls, end up in, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, the broken up, well, alarm, really, space station corridor. You know, things are going wrong. And then, yeah, so we already know that between the space station and Ravenswich, the town, there can be rifts in space-time. And here's one of them. So this is the end. This is the last thing I worked on myself. It is just some shapes. Actually 3D. I don't know if that shows in the video. But with that texture that way and glow in the dark doesn't show seams. So it's perfect for creating like an unreality. I don't know how else to describe it. But you would go through this, and hey, maybe I'll just put external view, yeah. As it flies around, and you get a glimpse of this area in space, right? And anyway, so you would touch the rip and tear in space-time. Where would that take you? It would take you to the Eldritch world. Identical, of course, except, well, I mean, identical in architecture, and it would be under the giant purple dome, etc. But it would be a different linear path you'd have to go through and just see things. So then, after you do that, you'd come to another spot, an open area, with another red door in a wood frame in the middle of nothing, not attached to anything. You'd open the door, portal appears, portal leads you back to the space station. Probably probably that room. Yeah, actually that room where you created the portal to the Eldritch world first time to get through to here. Looping you back. So now that you have the artifact in your inventory and you're back at the space station, you use the purple key to get out. And then you go back, use the teleporter to jump over to where the mining started or ended or whatever, into the asteroid. And then it leads you through. And now you come to that cavern with that door, that unrealistic door, the Eldritch door, whatever it is, with the pedestal that you now have the artifact for. And what do you find? You'd find a bunch of NPCs in the Ravenswich purple robes with their hoods down. So they'd be like, looking down, their hoods down. You can't make out who it is or whatever. They'd be in a circle, and you have to walk around them. But they're all there, maybe chanting. And so it's kind of like they recognize that you're on the path to unlocking that door and that you have the artifact. They know, the cultists know. They have otherworldly knowledge. So they all came from wherever they were in the space station there, waiting for you to do the thing. Yes, the thing that you're going to do that they could have done themselves and do themselves all the time, but now you're the new person who's going to be indoctrinated, right? So you do that. You put your artifact on the pedestal. The door opens up. There's going to be a fancy door that opens up like this and then like this or something, multiple ways to make it extra fancy. You'd go in and there'd be more rock walls, obviously, because you're deeper in the rock walls. Cool. And then it was going to kind of lead to another door that you could a blast door, but one that's closed that you just open up yourself. Easy. And then you'd be in a corridor. And maybe a couple of corridors, but normal space station corridors. Cool. door behind you closed. You know, it'd probably be a teleport door at some point. I don't know. And so you're on the final path. Cool. So then the fun thing, you're on the final path, you're through the corridors, and then you get to a corridor where you had to open the door and it closed quickly behind you. So you're in a corridor with another locked door in front of you. And as you get halfway through there, the floor would become unwalkable. So you're fixed in place. And the roof of the ceiling would start ripping up. You're frozen in place, so you can't do anything. It's just going to be a cinematic that you're a part of. The roof would start ripping up, and I figured out in multiple parts and ways, I was going to make that seem animated. Giant hand had grabbed the top of this corridor and ripped it up. You're not dead, but now it doesn't matter, because obviously you'd be spaced, but whatever. What you were looking at up in space, the space beyond just space and the stars, was a gigantic, and I mean huge, bigger than the multi-eyed tentacled eldritch thing at the end of Ravenswich, but way bigger than that, jack-o'-lantern. Huge jack-o'-lantern. And it would have that arm, obviously, holding onto the top of the thing, and there'd be another arm just kind of like up like this, menacingly. And you'd get a moment and maybe some creepy musical hit or a ta-da, or not even that, but nothing triumphant, but something like da da da, yeah, whatever. And, you know, you'd look up and you'd be like, oh, what the hell is that, right? It would just be huge jack-o'-lantern. That's supposed to be the Eldritch God himself. So not like the acolytes who looked Lovecraftian, Cthulhu, not the blue multi-eyed tentacled guy at the end of Ravenswich who was large but not this big. This is supposed to be the god himself, or at least his projection into our realm. And that ties into the whole Halloween stuff because he's a jack-o'-lantern. Anyway, his other hand, after you get a moment to really think about that, his other hand up there would do one of the endings of Ravenswich style, would come down on you and just come right down and you palm right on you. You know, as soon as that hit, you would be teleported into black space for a couple seconds. Good transition. And then the fun thing Delco and I were planning, we were going to, just like we did with the Eldritch World, the big purple dome, and it seems like a whole nother world, but it's still in the same area. We were going to recreate a brand new Anyland area with the sky being kind of dim, and then the tan, I know Graphics Monkey called it a biscuit, but the floor, the little kind of like flat asteroid. So you'd end up there, and then after a moment of wondering what the hell happened, did maybe Anyland glitch or did something go wrong, there's going to be text in the sky. I was going to do always face view, so even if you looked straight on or if you looked up, it would, you know, be legible. Big, huge text. And it would say, like, thanks for playing the Ravenswich trilogy, you know, by Delco and Jinx, et cetera, et cetera. Another fun kind of jokey thing we thought about doing is after a moment of, if you stayed in there, we'd Rickroll you, and we just imported YouTube, just the sound of Rickroll to play, just to kind of be like, this is the finale. But all the same, thanks everyone for playing our haunted experiences. I'm so glad so many people got to enjoy it and stuff. And yeah, this is archived of the space station, actually. Yeah, I'll do an external view. Black flame candle, the fastest way to travel. If you've ever seen the movie Stardust, you know that that is true. Delco and I have always made that item to quickly get to the starts of our worlds. There's always an invisible block that teleports us to, so we don't have to reset. But yes, thank you for always playing the Ravenswich worlds, our haunted worlds entirely. And this is Space Station Ravenswich, the third in the Ravenswich trilogy that had so much work. And after 2 years of Halloween seasons, I got a little exhausted and over at the edge of doing it. So we're not finishing it there. But this video is to archive what we did and some of the lore and all that. So anything else in the lore I didn't cover, I think. Let's see. Yeah, the whole idea was, in the future, mining space station drills into an asteroid, etc., etc. Time goes on, and deep in the asteroid, they find that eldritch door, that unreal door that no human made. They open it, the miners, and they find some remnant of the eldritch god, his projection into our dimension, and they start getting corrupted by him. Pretty typical, Lovecraftian themes. And that started spreading throughout all of the space station inhabitants. And like the scientists who created portal technology, well, whatever they first created, they then got it working using bodies. And then they started figuring out how they could open up into other realities, the Eldritch world. And from there, more and more and more corruption. Some of the people have the tattoos on their cheeks. That was kind of like a cult indoctrination thing. Maybe if you were a certain rank, you got that, so everyone knew at a glance that you were a high-ranking member of the cult. You see it over there, outside of the security guy who's ripped apart and smashed up on the window, or console, I guess, the screen. And you saw it in The Alchemist in Ravenswich. Later in Ravenswich, the alchemist shop. That guy in his robes, and he's got, the tattoo. So the idea was, again, they figured out also how to do time travel, and they started traveling back in time to 1899's Ravenswich. They figured a unimportant island in 1899 in New England could be ripe for takeover. So that if they could start indoctrinating people in the past, maybe the cult could take over the world in the past. So, the god in the future, the eldritch god they discovered, could start spreading his influence all over the earth, starting in the past. Since clearly being on an asteroid didn't work out for him for a long time. And just by fortune, there's an asteroid orbiting that ringed gas giant back there, and the humans found him. So now he's going to use his influence to spread. And kind of like the plot of Star Trek First Contact. Great movie, one of my favorites. The Borg used time travel to go back to Earth in the past, and ideally they were going to conquer Earth when it was vulnerable, when everyone was vulnerable after World War III, and then it would become a Borg planet, and then take over from there. But, of course, the movie didn't let that happen. So Ravenswich cultists in the space station started going into the past, and as you know from going through Ravenswich, there were plenty of cultists, and that church in the end, and some of those Cthulhu-like acolytes were there. And so it was working. The town of Ravenswich, the city, the town, and then the island, was starting to get taken over. Cool. However, something happened. As you can see from the news article at the beginning, in the tavern of Castle Ravenswich, like 50 or so years later, the cult was broken up and, quelched. So that never got to be more, okay? And so then when you go through the Castle Ravenswich in the 50s-ish era, you find lots of artifacts from the original Ravenswich that, the owner of the castle was collecting. He had a museum area. But that whole wing, Delco's crazy awesome wing, where you keep jumping through kind of realities and stuff, and you do end up a short spot in the underground, right? And the other Ravenswich. Anyway, so you go through there and all that, and clearly the master of the castle, the owner, was experimenting with his own kind of portal technology, probably magic-based. So, all that was tying in and all that. So, have a good evening. Deactivate recording mode.